Hey there everybody, just doing a review for this FlashFish power station that has a 520 watt hour power capacity along with a 560 watt continuous power output and a 1100 watt surge output. And so just taking a quick look at the box right over here at the back. At the front of the box, there's nothing really notable. I mean, it just shows you a few ways that you can use the power station. Over on this side, nothing on this side, and nothing at the back of the box either. Yeah, a simple box. And what's included in the box with the power station is a AC charging brick, a car charging cable, and a manual. The reason why I have the manual open like this is because that I actually find it easier to read a manual when it's opened up like this, because you can find all the information on a single side. And I was like looking for a few specifications for the power station, and I was able to find it pretty easily rather than flipping through pages. But just something pretty weird to point out, but that's just my feelings on manuals. Yeah, just taking a closer look at the power station itself. All right, so the power station does have a 11 by 7 by 6.5 form factor and weighs 12 pounds. So a decent size. This is actually a pretty small power station in my opinion. There are much larger ones that have higher power capacities, but I think this fits the bill for what it features in terms of its power output and capacity. And just taking a quick look around at the power station. Over at the front, you're gonna find most of the functional parts. We're gonna get into this in just a second, but taking a look over at this side, yeah, nothing, just a vent for the internal fans. Over at the back, yeah, nothing at the back, nothing on this side, just another vent for the internal fans. And yeah, at the top, as you saw, I'm just using the handle, a pretty useful, of course it's a useful handle. You can hold the power station using the handle. It has a rectangular shape, pretty uncommon with handles because usually handles are cylinders, but in this case it's a rectangle shaped handle, and it folds right into the power station just like that. One thing to note about this handle though is that when you let it fall, just freely to fold in, it's pretty loud. So just something to note. Like, it scared me a few times. Like, if I just let it go like this, and I'm just like, oh wow, that's loud. Over at the top, this is not a, you see, over at the top, this is not a wireless charging pad. I don't know what this is. I feel like while they were designing this power station, they wanted to make a wireless charging pad at the top, but they didn't have time, and they just left it like that. But I feel like this was a good chance to have a wireless charging pad on this power station, but unfortunately it does not feature wireless charging. But yeah, over at the front, this is where you're going to be spending most of the time using this power station. These are the input ports. You got a Anderson input port right over here, and a DC 5521 input port. This is going to be used for solar charging, and this is going to be used for the included AC charging brick and the car charging cable. And we're going to be, testing out the input ports in this review as well. AC outlet right there. These are 3-prong connectors, but this isn't a real ground port. I think this is just a space for the ground connector to go into, so you can actually still power your 3-prong appliances. These are the USB charging ports. You get a single USB-A quick charge port, 2 standard USB-A ports, and a single USB-C port. Yeah, so 18 watts right there. These two, I think, share a 15 watt output, and I believe the disappointing thing about this charging section is that this USB-C port only has a 18 watt output, I believe, because on the manual it says that this one features the same charging speed as the USB-A quick charge port. So I think you're only getting 18 watts right over here with this USB-C port. That is very unfortunate because at this point, power stations should feature a very powerful USB-C power delivery port, but this is not it, you guys. That is a pretty big letdown. Over here, we're going to be testing out this USB-C port with a laptop to see if it's able to charge a USB-C laptop, but yeah, we'll get to that in a second. This is the DC output section. You get 4 DC 5521 ports and a single DC cigarette lighter port, and here are the buttons right over here. So if you press any of the buttons right over here, like this is the power button, and it turns on the power station and it shows the battery logo. But if you turn it off and if you press any of these other buttons, the AC section, that turns on the AC outlets, or the DC button, or the USB button, they automatically turn on the power station anyways. You can just turn on the power station just like that, and the DC button activates this DC section right over here. AC button activates AC outlets. USB button activates the USB charging ports, and it shows up on the screen right there. And so yeah, this screen actually reminds me of the Aqua G2000 power station that I did do a review for previously, because this screen basically tells you nothing. The screen doesn't tell you the battery capacity percentage. It doesn't tell you the wattage output input. It doesn't tell you estimated time, estimated runtime, estimated recharge time. It just tells you the battery capacity in 20% increments. So each of these blocks right over here stand for like 20% of the battery life. But if you're down to the last bar, you don't know if the battery capacity is at 20% or at 5% or at 1%. So that is a pretty big disappointment right here with this power station. But yeah, I mean, it just tells you what's activated and the battery capacity in 20% increments. A pretty big disappointment at this price point. I'll show the price of this power station at the time of making this review later on in this review. Yeah, I mean, at this point, power stations should at least feature a percentage battery capacity display, and also they should feature the wattage input and output. I don't know why brands still use this type of minimal screen, but here we are. And if they do feature this type of screen, they should definitely be priced much lower than the competition, in my opinion. And there you have it. Those are the output ports and input ports. So we're going to start using the charging ports right over here real quick and see how they perform. And we'll be right back. All right, you guys. So just back with the charging ports being used. I got all the charging ports being used in this case, which includes the single USB-A quick charge port, the two standard ports over in the middle that each output 15 watts, or I think they share a 15 watt output, but I don't have the USB-C port connected yet because I wanted to show you guys something first. So yeah, the Galaxy Note 9 is fast charging from the USB-A quick charge port. Yeah, fast charging. The Galaxy A51 and LG G7 are standard charging from the two standard USB-A ports in the middle. Yeah, standard charging right there. There we go. But the most interesting about this charging section, actually, that I want to show you guys is that this USB-C port right over here is able to charge this laptop at about 22 watts. Let's take a closer look at this. Yeah, it jumps to 22 watts. And yeah, this is surprising because this USB-C port is supposed to be equivalent to this USB-A quick charge port. They're both supposed to be outputting 18 watts, but this one goes above its 18 watt output. As you can see, it's actually charging this laptop. And you know, on the user manual, let's see if I can find it real quick. Here it is. Yeah, my bad. So yeah, if you take a look, the USB-A quick charge port and USB-C port are equivalent. So you get 2 amps at either 5 volts or 9 volts. So it's either 10 watts or 18 watts of charging power. And you know, that USB-C port shouldn't be able to charge this laptop, but it is. So I think the manual is showing wrong specifications. I think they did make a mistake on that because I think this USB-C power delivery port is stronger than it says it is on the manual and on the Amazon product page or whatever. So I think they should take a closer look at that because it's able to charge the laptop because this laptop doesn't accept anything lower than 45 watts of power delivery in my experience. So I mean, that's good. Another thing about this power station is that I wish they actually marked the charging ports. Like this would be like, they would have like a quick charge logo. This would have like just standard USB logos over here, and they would like maybe label this a 18 watt USB-C power delivery port. But you know, they're just like laid out really plainly, and all we get is this USB output text right over there. But yeah, I mean, the charging section actually did exceed expectations. It did exceed the specifications on the manual, so that's great because you get a single smartphone charging, two phone standard charging, and you're also able to charge a laptop that charges via USB-C. So that was a surprise. I'm not complaining. I just wish that they were able to label the charging ports more accurately because I'm not really too sure what this USB-C port is able to output. But anyways, we're gonna move on to the AC outlets and we're gonna test out some appliances with them. All right, let's get to it. All right, you guys, so just back with the power station. So I've got this Lasco heater connected to the power station because I just want to start off strong to see if this power station is able to handle appliances that go over its 560 watt continuous power output, just to see if it's able to regulate its output or if it automatically shuts down the unit. And the reason why I have the power station upside down is because these AC outlets over here are practically upside down, and they didn't allow me to plug in this electricity monitor. So I had to turn the power station upside down. I don't know if this is gonna hinder its performance, but that's what I had to do so we know how much wattage is coming out of the power station, because this screen tells us nothing in regards to how many watts are going out or into the unit. So yeah, that's what's going on right there. I'm gonna turn on the heater to see what happens. All right, so let's just turn it on. I'm gonna set it to low first. All right. So we are going up in wattage. Oh, yep, there we go. And yeah, it looks like you cannot go over that 560 watt output continually. The power station will automatically shut down, and that 1100 watt max output, or like surge output, is that surge peak output that just stays there for a few seconds and then it automatically turns off the power station, as we just saw. So yeah, 560 watts is the max output for this unit. You can't go over it, it won't regulate it. So at least we know now. You can't power a heater like this Lasco heater that has like an output, I think, of about 1500 watts. It has like 800 watt output when you have it on low. I think it has a 1500 watt output when you have it on high. But yeah, there you have it. If you want to use mini heater with this power station, you can do so. But yeah, with that said, let's go get appliances to test out that fit within that 560 watt continuous power output. Oh wait, I didn't even test out if we're able to turn on the power station again. Yep, just make sure it's not broken. Yep, it works. All right, we're good. Alright you guys, so for this test I do have the Black & Decker mini fridge, so I'm just going to switch it on to see if this power station is able to handle that surge and ultimately power this mini fridge. So I'm just going to set this down and turn on the fridge real quick. Oh no. Okay. What just happened there? Well, I mean, it looks like the fridge wasn't able to, it looks like the power station wasn't able to handle that surge output, which comes to like about 800 900 watts, and then it should like level out at about 80 watts and constantly run, but that's not what happened with this power station. So unfortunately, I don't think you can power like a mini fridge like this with this FlashFish power station, unfortunately. Let me go and test it out one more time. Let me turn the power station right side up to see if that has anything to do with it. Yeah, I'll be right back. Alright you guys, so just back with the power station. I did turn it right side up again, so it's like where it should be, but the electricity monitor is upside down now. Let me just go and turn on the refrigerator to see what happens now. Switch. Yep, still not working. So that's a bit of a disappointment because this power station should be able to handle that surge. So yeah, ultimately it looks like you're not able to power a mini fridge with this power station, even though that surge output is like 1100 watts. I was hoping that it would stay there for a few seconds and be able to power this mini fridge right over here, but that's not the case. It should be able to handle a mini fridge. I don't know why it didn't. When I powered this mini fridge with the PowerWorks 500 watt power station, that power station was able to power this mini fridge, but unfortunately this isn't built up to that same standard, I guess. But yeah, that's what happened right there, you guys. Alright you guys, so just back with the FlashFish power station. I do have the power station right side up, and I have the electricity monitor upside down now because just make sure that this power station is going to be working optimally. I just put the unit on the edge of this table so I can actually connect the electricity monitor. But yeah, with that said, we're going to be testing out this Ninja food blender. I'm going to set it to low, medium, and high. This is going to be a pretty loud test, so just a warning if your volume is set to high right now. Yeah, we're just going to start with low first. And yeah, there we go. You can power a full-size blender with this FlashFish power station. Handles it with no problem. So it's good to have some good news with this power station after testing out the heater, which wasn't a surprise. I knew the heater wasn't going to be able to be powered from this unit. The refrigerator was a bit of a surprise, but yeah, being able to power a full-size blender is going to be pretty useful with this unit. I don't have anything inside the blender right now. If you have something inside, it does use more power, but even with food inside that you're blending, the raise in power isn't going to be that much because this is a 500 watt unit, so it should be able to handle whatever you put inside and power from this power station. And yeah, you can't really see anything inside either. I've been using this blender pretty heavily over the past 3 years and it's all scratched up inside. But yeah, there you guys have it. Let's move on to the next appliance test. Alright you guys, so just back with the FlashFish power station. I'm powering this lamp right over here, and I'm also powering this Milwaukee battery charger, currently pulling out 68 watts. I think the lamp usually pulls out around like 20 watts, which is currently at its highest setting. But yeah, so yeah, you can power like 2 appliances at the same time. These are 2 relatively low wattage appliances, but still good to know that you can power both of them. We're gonna move on to testing out some more higher wattage appliances. I'm gonna get probably like a crock pot and plug it into this power station. I think I have a large one and a mini one. Let me just go ahead and grab those and we'll test them out. Alright you guys, so just back with the FlashFish power station. I'm currently powering this large crock pot right over here. Have it on its high setting right now, and we're currently getting about a 204 watt output. And I also also have this mini one right over here. I'm gonna replace this one with this mini one right now because I want to check out the output of that unit, and then I'm gonna power both of these at the same time to see if this power station can handle it. And so we'll be right back. Alright, you guys, so I have the mini one plugged in to this monitor, and we're currently getting a 91 watt output. And so yeah, I mean theoretically this power station should be able to handle both of these crock pots connected at the same time, and that's exactly what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to plug them both in and see what happens. And yeah, I'll be right back. Alright, you guys, so just back with the FlashFish power station powering these two crock pots simultaneously. I do have them both at high, and so yeah, this large one is going to be outputting 200 watts. The mini one is going to be outputting 90 watts. And yeah, as you can see, you can power them both with no problems. You know, if you stick within that 500 watt max output range for this power station, you're going to be pretty satisfied with what it has to offer. If you go over that 500 watt output, it is going to automatically shut off. Unfortunately, you know, some power stations, they're able to regulate that power output that goes beyond their continuous output, but you know, this unit isn't able to do that. As long as you stick below that 500 watt output, it's going to do you well. I mean, in this case, with the 90 watt output and the 200 watt output, you're looking at about, I think, a 1.5 hour runtime from this unit. So yeah, there we go. So next up, I'm going to power a Samsung 32-inch TV that I have inside. I'm going to see how it's able to power that. Currently got my cat on me, and yeah, and then after the appliance test, I'm going to do the capacity test to see how much of that 520 watt hour capacity that you can actually use with this unit. All right, and let's get to it. Alright, you guys, so just back with the FlashFish power station. I'm currently powering this 32-inch Samsung TV. I've currently got The Walking Dead playing just to check out how the series ends. Taking a look at the output, we're currently getting about a 41 watt output, but it does fluctuate depending on what's on the screen. The highest that I've seen it gone is like 80 watts with this TV. And yeah, it's going to be handling a 32-inch TV with no problems at all. You're going to be able to power probably a 55-inch TV that I have outside as well. You also have an extra AC outlet in case you want to plug in another appliance. And yeah, with that said, you guys, I'm going to recharge this power station back to full power, and we're going to do a AC capacity test to see how much of that 520 watt hour capacity that you can actually use. So yeah, let me get this back to full power, and we'll be right back. Alright, you guys, so just back with the FlashFish power station. I did recharge it back up to full power, and so what I have connected is the mini crockpot right over here. I have it set to low currently, and this electricity monitor is going to be monitoring how many watt hours it's able to pull from this power station from the AC outlet, and not the DC outlet, because I won't be testing the DC capacity, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm gonna probably have it run overnight, and we're gonna come back until the battery is completely drained to see how much of that 520 watt hour capacity that you can actually use from this unit. And yeah, we'll be right back. Alright, you guys, so I did manage to run down the capacity of this power station using the mini crock pot. Yeah, we took it down to 0%. And when I came back, what ended up happening is that we had 430 watt hours of capacity that you could actually use of the 520 watt hour capacity of this power station. So yeah, I mean, you're looking at about an 82 to 83% efficiency rating for this unit. That's pretty good. Wow, I mean, I was actually kind of amazed that it was able to get an 83% efficiency rating. So, you know, you can use most of the capacity that the power station says it has. I know it's upside down, but yeah, that says 43 right there. 0.43 kilowatt hours translates into 430 watt hours. Yeah, I mean, that's great. That's some good news right there. However, some bad news though, when I was recharging the power station, I noticed that this FlashFish power station does not feature pass-through charging through the AC outlets. Yes, I'm being serious. So when you're recharging the unit, you cannot use the AC outlets. However, you can use the DC ports and you can use the USB ports, but you cannot use the AC outlets. Yeah, this came as a big surprise. I mean, just wow. Just taking a look at that. I mean, I'm currently charging my Galaxy Note 9 just to show you guys that the USB ports are working. But you know, like, there's no AC pass-through charging with this power station. Yeah, that's like, most power stations feature pass-through charging at this point, but this unit does not feature that. Yeah, but when it comes to the AC charging, it maxes out at 90 watts. That's okay. With the 90 watt input speed for a 520 watt hour capacity, you're going to be looking at about a 6 to 7 hour recharge time from 0 to 100. However, I think the solar recharging for this unit is faster. I think it maxes out at 130 watts. And yeah, and with that said, we're going to head outside. I'm going to grab a solar panel, and we're going to test out the solar recharging for this unit through that Anderson input port right over there. All right, let's get to it. All right, you guys, so just outside with the FlashFish power station, and I am solar recharging it with this Alpha ESS 200 watt solar panel.
As you can see right here, we are getting full sun exposure. And so since the power station doesn't have a very useful screen because it doesn't show input wattage or output wattage, I got this wattage meter that has Anderson connectors so I can input it into the power station. And currently we're getting about 75 watts of input power using this 200 watt solar panel from Alpha ESS. And that's pretty decent because I think this power station has a 130 watt max solar input. And so yeah, that's what's happening. I'm not sure if this is accurate or not because some of the reviews on Amazon do note that it's not entirely accurate. Yeah, and I was able to use this panel because it comes with a Anderson connector already hooked up to this solar panel. And I was able to hook up this adapter into the power station itself, and this is what we ended up with. So that is solar recharging for this power station. So you can go with a 100 watt solar panel if you want to, a 200 watt solar panel just to make sure that you can reach up to that 130 watt max solar input if you want. But yeah, there we go. Alright guys, so for the build quality of this FlashFish power station, yeah, it has an okay build, I'd say. I mean, just made of plastic like most other power stations are. You know, it's not waterproof, it's not shock proof, so you know, don't drop it, don't expose it to water, and I think you're gonna be fine. However, you know, the design quality of this unit is lacking because the charging ports aren't labeled. You know, it would have been nice to have like a quick charge label on the USB-A quick charge port, you know, possibly a power delivery label on that USB-C port, a pure sine wave 560 watt label for the AC outlets. Yeah, I mean, the screen also, as I mentioned many times before, the screen is just really minimal. It just feels like they just slapped this power station together and just shipped it out to customers because, you know, it's just a really simple base power station in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, so there you have it. I mean, build quality is good. Design quality is kind of lacking in this case, in my opinion. Alright guys, so at the time of filming this review, this FlashFish power station does go for $4.99 over on Amazon. It does have a $80 coupon, and in my opinion, this is a pretty hard sell when you consider that screen that lacks the wattage input, output, battery capacity percentage, estimated runtime, any app integration. It doesn't have that. When you look at alternatives in this space at this point in the game for the portable power source market, you know, you have EcoFlow Jackery doesn't have app integration, my bad. But like EcoFlow and Bluetti, and also there's like a new company called GrowWatt. You know, app integration is present, and you know, a detailed screen. This FlashFish power station doesn't have all that. You know, it doesn't have app integration, it doesn't have a detailed screen. And you know, I understand that this unit has a 560 watt output and a 520 watt hour capacity, but you know, those two things don't fully factor into the price. You know, you also have to take the whole package in, and you know, in my opinion, that's too much of a high price. I think FlashFish needs to readdress this price point and probably put it lower. And also, you have to consider that this unit doesn't use lithium iron phosphate. It still uses lithium ion batteries, and it's another thing. Like a lithium ion power station should be a lot cheaper. You know, when you consider the Bluetti EB3A that has a lithium iron phosphate battery. I know the Bluetti EB3A has a 268 watt hour capacity, but at the same time, the Bluetti EB3A has a high output, it has amp integration, it has a much detailed screen. So, you know, those are the things to consider. I think this should be priced a lot lower than this, even with the coupon included, if they really want to sell a lot of units. And alright you guys, so that is a review for the FlashFish 560 watt output power station. Down in the description below, I will leave a link to the product page for this unit, as well as a link to the review article that I've written on chargerharbor.com in case you want to read a review article. And I will see you all on the next review. Alright, goodbye.